From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening here on LALATE, and I'm back with exciting great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check, and based upon the news here in Los Angeles, there may be more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon, and there will be $3.5 trillion of other checks for you in that recon. We'll go over some of the other items that Americans are going to get money for in this wonderful, massive stimulus recon. Then we go over the voting process, the bills, the votes, everything you need to know. And for the first time ever, I insert my own personal opinions early in the video to explain why it's confusing about what's going on. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with the raising of upbeat benefits a lifetime and applying a new benchmark of inflation. That inflation got a biggest lift from Jay Powell this week. I'll explain to you what he said. And then we cut to the exciting news of millions of viewers are getting tons of dollars. And we're not talking about a few pennies, tens of thousands of dollars. Like Nisa, you've got $23,000. We'll explain how you can get this money as well. It's a big night. It's a big, exciting evening. We're excited for the weekend. We're also excited for the news. And let's get to it, starting right now. Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. You made it to the weekend. I'm so excited for you. Are you excited? I know I am. You deserve a weekend. We all do. How's the weather where you are? It got cooler today, but not cool enough. We need more of that onshore breeze here in Santa Monica because it's still a bit on the hot side. Some of the flowers have been struggling, but hope you're doing well. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we'll be going over that monthly stimulus check and what happened in LA that signals there may be more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon, and there's $3.5 trillion of money checks for the American people. We'll go over what some of those checks are and when you'll see the other types of checks in there. And then we cut to the voting process, the bills, the votes, everything that's happening, and why next week may be the big week. And then we cut to the big money. Fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime and gives you more money. What Jay Powell said about this as well yesterday. And then we cut to the exciting news that viewers continue to get tens of $20,000 from this channel. I'm going to show you how you can get $20,000 approximately. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with overnight's crypto, then evening's crypto, and then sirloin. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Fastest growing cryptocurrency channel, fastest growing channel of its kind. We're covering it all. And sirloin tonight will be the first of the second incarnation of sirloin. When sirloin was brought back into the mix earlier this year, you will see that very first video when sirloin returns. So it's a good show. It's tonight at 8 o'clock. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. Let's get to the breaking news right off the bat. LA County says, away we go. We're going back with masks. Full mask mandate is back in LA. This is huge because the pandemic is not over, according to LA. So what does that mean? A House bill, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks. Senate proposal, July to December. Let's look at the payouts. House, $1,000 a month after the first month. Senate amount monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. And $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. What happened? Well, 2.5 weeks ago, I said, LA is starting to say, maybe put your mask back on, and then the Oracle of Omaha, the head of Berkshire Hathaway, said the pandemic's not over. Then the airline said the pandemic's not over. And then last night it hit. Last night, LA County said, you're putting your mask back on. Mask mandate is back for indoor people in Los Angeles County, signaling the pandemic's not over. Yesterday, a Republican on Capitol Hill questioning Jay Powell said, you know, Mr. Chairman, the pandemic's not over. Wow. So Republicans and Democrats now agreeing the pandemic's not over. So when we look at the two bills, House versus Senate, suddenly the House looks totally different than we thought of it a few weeks ago. As we look back to that House bill, now it would seem that the House would pay more than just 1 year of checks, which would potentially be more than $13,000. Let's compare that to this in the Senate. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Well, there you go. Things changing very quickly. And in this video, you're going to see how the news cycle is literally changing every few hours. There's a lot of breaking news. I got literally 30, 40 pages of breaking news, and I got to go over what happened this morning. And there's a lot coming up in this video. Stay in the final 15. Who gets his forced stimulus check? The Democrats represent that single individual, $75,000 or less, would get it. Democrats want to give a married couple a forced stimulus check, double it, $150,000 or less. Family of four, they want to give you a forced stimulus check, quadruple it, they represent. And then if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, whatever benefits Democrats represent, they want to give you a forced stimulus check. The forced stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. It would be the same amount for adult dependents as everyone else, and the forced stimulus check would not come in waves. But if you do partake in some happy hour tonight, and you do see the check at the bar, enjoying happy hour with the Mitch special, and the check looks like it's doing the pear dance. Don't ask the check if it's tipping LALATE with the pear dance. The check is sort of tipping over. The only thing good about happy hour at the check is that suddenly you see two checks. And if you are partaking in happy hour as well, the forced stimulus check would come in the month of December for the month of December, and in the month of July for the month of July, the Democrats represent. But in the third part of this video, we'll be going over that July 4th vote, what happened, and what's happening next week. Could there be a vote? There is a vote. But which vote is it? And we'll be going over the bills, the recon, and the bipartisan, and where they are voting and legislation. And we have some deals. We have some major deals to announce in tonight's evening's LA broadcast. In the second part of this video, go over the $3.5 trillion of checks for the American people. I'll go over some of those checks that are in there. But for the first time ever on Evenings LA, I'm inserting my personal opinion early in this video, starting right now. This morning I woke up and I turned on my favorite business channel, and I saw my favorite business anchor, and I saw a reporter from a national newspaper. It happens to be the number 1 or number 2 in the country, not a small one. And they were talking about this. And you know what they said? The reporter said, the one I love, well, you know, the recon is paid by corporate taxes. I said, what you saying here? I wanted to throw my pancakes at or whatever I was eating at the TV screen. Then the reporter said, well, the president, he wants, you know, a 35% corporate tax rate. What are you talking about? He never said such a thing. It's important for you to understand that this was not a small operation. This is a major broadcast channel. And it's one that I adore. And the reporting was totally inaccurate, confusing the bipartisan and the recon. Here's what's going on, is that when they report things inaccurately, then the American people get confused. And trust me, this is not an easy subject to cover, because you got two bills with two different items and two different things, and it can get very confusing. In the last 24 hours, a lot of people have been jumping in the live chat or in the comments saying, Chuck has announced there's a vote on the recon on Tuesday. He did it. He announces a vote on the cloture, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, it's one of those days, closure of the bipartisan. What? So some people then also jumped in the live chat and said, Chuck is going to vote on the infrastructure, and we're going to have the deal, and the checks will go out. No. So let me explain. Chuck Schumer announced that on Tuesday, there will be a vote, called cloture vote, on the infrastructure. Remember, that's roads and bridges, not your money. And the vote is not a vote on the substance, it's a vote on the procedure. What is the vote called? It basically says, zip it or speak up. Sort of something we would do as if we were this channel. It's causing the bipartisan to say, hey, if you want to do this bipartisan, you need to set a timeline. And the vote will say, hey, you're dead. You're going to be given a deadline to get the bipartisan done, or it's dead. The response, oh boy. The response from both Republicans and Democrats say they're voting against the vote for Tuesday, saying they don't want to be limited as to when they want to get things done. But that's what's important to understand, that in times like this, where there's a lot of confusing legislation, a lot of confusing statements, don't hear something and not hear the whole story. And sadly, some of the broadcast news reporters are getting things confused as well. More about that later in this video. But here, let's get a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and it raises up with the new lift of your benefits if you're on SSI all the way up to VA. I'm really excited for you because Jay Powell this week said exactly what I wanted him to say. And then Wall Street said, my inflation rate? Oh, that's coming up later in this video. But let's get some money. Let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready, and if it must be a Crayola crown, it's not muddled anything. If you're new to this channel, this is what I do. We're getting money, and I am so proud of you. Jump in the live chat right now if you've got a rent. Post the rent you got. If you got utilities, post the utilities. If you've got Snap, post the Snap. I have been reporting that rent up from the viewers of this channel, we're getting about $5,000 of rent. My viewers, because of this videos, are now getting upwards of $20,000 for rent, like Nisi, who got $23,000 across the board. For utilities, I said $300, but viewers are sending me DMs on Facebook and Instagram saying, thank you, I got $3,000 because your videos. When we talk about it, Snap, I've been saying viewers were getting $5,000 to $6,000, and now they've ramped it up and they're getting upwards of $12,000, like John. So let's go over this big money. It's available under third stimulus, and this is what I do. When this channel was launched, I launched this channel because people were not getting their EIDL loans or the EIDL grants. I didn't launch it to track it because there was nothing to track. It wasn't coming. I got it. A lot of it, $25 million for viewers of this channel. And then in fall of 2020, people were talking about, let's track a second stimulus check, but it wasn't coming yet. It didn't come until 2021 in January. I didn't track it with you. What we did was we cash checks, $250,000 of them, as viewers got rent utilities because this channel. Viewers like Tyrone got $15,000 for his family for during the holidays. And here we are. The only difference this time around is you. You are killing it. Post your numbers right now. I am really incredibly proud of you. Let's start with that big money. If you've never gotten any money for this channel, you're going to get it right tonight. And if you've gotten one, we're going to get 2 or 3, like Art Sullivan, who's gotten 3. I want you to get multiple items. Get that pen and paper ready. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Also, don't take yourself out of the equation saying, I don't know if I qualify. Just apply. Here we go. We're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or stimulus, or muddle to anything. We don't muddle here. Do you muddle? I don't muddle. Do you muddle? I don't muddle. There's no muddling here. So don't say the word muddle, because there's no muddling in stimulus. There you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of the money is Snap, and John got $12,000 from it. How does Snap work? What is it? Where is it coming? It comes from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to them. Eligibility is about the same as a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A fortune. It is money for food. A family of 4 gets upwards of $16,000 a year in Hawaii. Wow. John got $12,000 for his family. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son and her mom. Gail got it as well. What is it? How do you get it? Why so much? It's because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And there you go. You're killing it. Only 12 minutes in this video, and you're gotten $15,000, $60,000 for Snap for a family of 4 in Hawaii. We would have gotten $5,000 for rent, but you're getting bigger numbers. If you posted the rent or Snap, or you haven't posted it right now, the next pot of the money is the money coming back from your states. States have been ordered to return the money you've got paid due to unemployment benefits, overpaid due to computer error. Federal government has ordered to return it back to you. Let's go over how much, where, and when. First, the where. Direct deposit. When. Reach out to your state and say, hey, state, where is that money due to overpayment of computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? Congratulations to the viewers in the last few days who got $3,000, $5,000 for this. The next pot of the money is the refund check from IRS. Breaking news, as IRS has issued a statement that said the next round has just gone out. Viewers like Cod, Margaret, and Michael got it recently. But the next group of people, the average refund will be $1,265, IRS says. Wow. Direct deposits will start July 14th. Wow. And delivered checks will begin July 16th. Oh, my goodness. Monthly checks will continue week after week thereafter. How much are you going to get? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit. When? Or otherwise in the mail. When? Go to irs.gov. Do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal stuff you never knew. It'll reveal stuff you don't want people to see. It'll reveal the tax return in your file, the taxes you pay. It'll reveal really how tipsy does the check get after that Mitch margarita. Is the Mitch ball a sort of like a fireball? And finally, the tax refund check you're getting back from IRS, its date, and there you go. Let's cut to the second part of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 starting right now. So here we are. The recon is now passable. And the great news going into the weekend is the recon has an agreement. There's several layers of where they need to get agreements on the recon, but the most important part is now finalized. It's the price tag. $3.5 trillion. We ended the week with an agreement by the Senate Democrats, which is the key group, as the price tag of the recon. They don't have to call for a vote to do this. All they have to do is meet, and they met and they agreed upon the price tag. This is huge, as Senator Tim Kaine said, that once you have the price tag, everything falls into position. It's great for two reasons. First, when you have the price tag, now you just slide in the provisions. Number two, it's an enormous price tag. But before this, 3 weeks ago, before they did the split of the recon, it was not passable. We had that confirmation from conservative media. When the recon had roads and bridges in it at the time, it was too big and not passable. The higher the price tag was on the recon, the harder it was to pass them. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall recon got smaller. Yes. In other words, the bipartisan made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. Now, the reason why the week ends differently than how the week started was that the remainder of the quote said that the GOP should not endorse, should not like the bipartisan because it's enabling the recon. Well, you're going to see later in this video that the GOP loves the bipartisan. They really love it. They love this roads and bridges. So everything has really changed. Now, here's what's very important, and you can see me really trying to help you make sure you understand everything, because knowledge is power. That's what I said from day one of this channel. It's one of the original instructions of this channel. Knowledge is power. The names for these two items are getting multiple versions lately, and it's not your fault, not my fault. It's sort of like they're pop singers or nightclubs. They keep on changing their names. Recon is also being called reconciliation. It's also being called the budget bill. The way you recognize it is if you see a price tag of $3.5 trillion or you see Bernie Sanders talking about it. The bipartisan is getting another name, which is infrastructure bill. You recognize it by its price tag, $1.5 trillion approximately, and you recognize it by the people talking about it, Lisa Murkowski, Kristen Sinema, Mitt Romney. The two items together are being called Build Back America. So it's important to keep track of those names, because I have a feeling that you are doing better than the broadcast news reporters that can't keep track one of the other. Now, when they shrunk that recon enormously by taking roads and bridges out, it made it passable, but also allowed the progressives to put other sums of money in there. And how much did they put in there? $3.5 trillion. These quotes were very fascinating because these were before the announcement of the deal with the price tag. The progressives had said, Representative Ilhan Omar, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens to the bipartisan, we'll go big and bold as we won in the recon. Well, they did. The progressives adore the $3.5 trillion price tag. Bernie Sanders said it's a historic day in our country. He claimed this was a historic moment in the United States government to have a recon of $3.5 trillion. Then we had Representative Richie Torres, before that passage, a Democrat in New York, said, I must have a large recon for my housing in there. And then we had progressives meeting with the White House daily to put things in there. How did they get here? They got here by the progressives really protecting the recon, and they got what they want. They say they got exactly what they wanted. Jalopal been protecting, and Brian Short says that they consider the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon theirs. Now, let's focus on understanding what the recon is, how you see it, when you'll hear about it. So the recon stands for reconciliation. It's a bill. And the recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. Who writes it? It's written in the House subcommittees, with the Senate subcommittees watching over their shoulder, because ultimately this may start on the Senate side. The authors are divided by subject matter under the Constitution. So different House subcommittees have different subject matter based upon the Constitution. For example, House Ways and Means oversee stimulus checks. They oversee unemployment. And they're delegated their subject matter. Other departments, other subcommittees are doing other subject matters. Now, under the Constitution, there's no requirement of transparency. They don't have to show you what they're writing, when they're writing, what they're voting, what they're not voting, or whether it's coffee or decaf or regular. Paper, plastic. They don't have to show you. They don't have to show you. And ironically, print media has been running the story a lot. We don't know what's in the recon is basically the angle of the stories, which is correct, because the Democrats don't want to show us, not for a negative reason, for a positive reason. They want to really protect it, and they want to sort of debut it as a big package to the American people, sort of a big splash. Now, It's important with that you understand you should never be saying stuff like, I never heard, I have not heard. Well, guess what? No one else has heard it either. Because they don't want you to know. It's sort of like someone saying, on that favorite pop singer's upcoming album, I haven't heard any tracks. Well, you shouldn't be, unless someone illegally stole them and leaked them online. So you're not supposed to have heard them. So that's where we are. Now, how did we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by Jalopal, who had written a letter to Schumer saying, call the vote check. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats among the 100 plus, yes, 100, that said we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee, yep, that same subcommittee wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Wow. Now, these are the people on the subcommittee that are responsible for writing monthly stimulus checks. It's their job to write stimulus in the fourth stimulus recon, and they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. You got to push Purple Power and keep them to their promise. Can we top that? Yes. They also say they're doing a fifth stimulus check. Wow. They also wrote your third and second as well. But can we top that as well? Yes, we can. The president got his way. And today and yesterday, it's official. The international corporate tax rate minimum is officially law. The ceremonial signature was 3 weeks ago, but it's all cross-broadcast news tonight. It's huge because it makes fourth stimulus recon now easier to pass. Why? Because it's not needed in there. The provision about international corporate taxes is not needed in the recon anymore, which makes it easier to write the recon, easier to call the vote on the recon, easier to vote on the recon, and easier to pass the recon. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the final part of your fourth stimulus check update tonight, we'll go over the vote, the dates, what Chuck is doing on Tuesday, what Chuck is doing on Wednesday, the bills, where they are, what you need to do, and what you need to know. We'll be cutting the fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime, and what Jay Powell said about that inflation rate. But something more wonderful, the volunteers. If you've been in the live chat and you have not posted the success stories you've had, post them right now. The reason why posting those success stories is important because it inspires other people who are watching to go get the money. It inspires other people who got 1 item to get 3, like Art Sullivan got 3. And it updates me about the numbers. But if you're watching, you say, hey, I haven't gotten any money. I tried to. I couldn't find it. Don't worry. I got your back. That's the spirit of this loving community. So reach out to the community page. The volunteers are there to help you get that money. Open the description of this video. Find the emoji of a house. Next to the emoji of a house is a link to the community page, news.la.com/community. The volunteers are separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get that money. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with a huge finale, that final 15, don't miss it, about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus in tonight's Evenings LA. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on Evenings LA tonight with exciting great details about your fourth and fifth stimulus, direct from Santa Monica. How are you? I'm excited for the weekend. Are you? Jump in the live chat and tell me how the weather is. Coming up is the final 15 of fourth stimulus. We'll be going over the vote, the bills, the details, and what Chuck is doing on Tuesday and what he's not doing on Tuesday. We'll be kind of fifth stimulus and what Jay Powell said about raising up your benefits. And more coming up later is sirloin at 8 o'clock, the original first sirloin when he came back, the first interior type sirloin. You remember meeting sirloin last year outside, but boy, this is the first one. You're gonna like it. I haven't looked at it yet. I did recognize it. And then some of the Mitch Ball New Year's Eve specials. Boy, those are up tonight. A lot of great stuff. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. 400,000 in 1 year. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 30,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. All this weekend long, I'll have a lot of breaking news for you because the situation is moving very, very quickly. You're going to see how the news cycle is now changing by the hour. And as it changes by the hour, it confuses people by the hour. So I will be here to give you a lot of updates this weekend with a lot of new shows, so stay with me. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall by raising up your benefits, SSI and SSDI, VA, and more. This would be in September, out to a bill by about a vote by about October, November, and it would raise your benefits up, then remove the inflationary benchmark, add an asset, remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. How does this work? First, it'll raise your benefits up. You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or SSA. Next, it'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. You know how a benchmark works. It comes in the fall for next year's benefits. What did Jay Powell said this week? You're ahead of the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Appeared on Capitol Hill yesterday and the day before, and he said exactly the same thing he said last time it was there. That inflation is going up. It's still not done going up, and it's reached its highest price point in December. I love that because that's when they apply your benchmark. Now, what number, though, for the inflation? Well, he can't give you a high number because he'll scare the markets. But Wall Street this week said my number, 5%. That's what we're looking at. So first, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. And let's say it is 5%. Your benefits would raise up an additional 5%. Not just next year, a lifetime. And then they'll, if the inflation rate the year after that is 1%, that'll step up as well. They're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. It'll go away, and you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and some other money. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960 law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. The marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your long-time love interest. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the loss of benefits. It would not be retroactive. A personal message, I just want to insert it here, is that there's always sporadically someone who jumps to the live chat and says, I don't want to hear about the fifth stimulus check. We're still on the fourth. The reason why I cover fifth stimulus is because of the raising up of my beneficiary viewers' monies. They waited for this longer than almost anyone. They've been waiting for SS200 since about September of last year. So do you think I'm going to throw them on the wayside and not focus on their story as well? Please understand that's why I'm covering fifth stimulus. Not because of another stimulus check, but because of their benefits. And one of the things as a community we do is we never hold one person more important than another. We cover them all. All right, with that, the Senate, the House Democrats do represent there would be a fifth stimulus check and would land next year. And also the president has given $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your money comes out in time. Finally, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to file a tax return. And on that tax return, there's a line item in which you need to request it. If you haven't done both, go to a tax preparer. Finally, if you're watching this video and you have not gotten any of the sums of the money, and you're watching the people in the live chat and they have the purple hawk emoji next to their name, like, how are they getting that emoji? And I want that money. Well, consider becoming a member. There's a join link under the video. Becoming a member, you get delivered to you daily the breakdown of all the big money. You're going to see in a second, I'm going to go over $3.5 trillion under the fourth stimulus. Folks, that's money for you. It's a fortune, $3.5 trillion. I will be covering that for months. How much money I can get viewers out of $3.5 trillion. Trust me, there's a lot of money in there. But guess what we're doing right now? We're getting third stimulus money. There's a fortune for you. That's why viewers are getting $23,000 from this channel, because it was money put in third stimulus for you. By becoming a member, I deliver daily to you a breakdown of all the money in that third stimulus. It comes from the community page. So consider becoming a member and learning all that great money. And there we go. We're right on schedule, 30 minutes for the final 15 of your fourth stimulus check of 2021 starting right now. So it's important to understand going into the weekend, going into next week, that we have two separate bodies of legislation. You can't confuse them. And I think you're doing a better job than the broadcast media is doing. Bipartisan, infrastructure, roads and bridges, whatever you want to call it, it's over here. It has nothing to do with you, unless you own a road or bridge. It only has to do with you because it needs to get voted on and done close in time to when the recon is done right before it. And if this is not done, the recon gets stalled up. All right, so what's the recon? It's your money, $3.5 trillion of your money in there. So what is Chuck doing on Tuesday? On Tuesday, he's calling a vote on a procedural move for the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. The purpose of the vote is simply this. I want to close the debate on the bipartisan as of a few days thereafter. Zip it, otherwise get it done. That's basically what the vote is. It's not a vote on the bill. There is no bill for the bipartisan still. It's not a vote on the roads and bridges. There's no agreement on which road or what bridge. It's basically a vote that says, get it done, or we're not talking about it anymore. It sort of sounds like how we talk on this channel. Get it done and stop talking. I love it. Now, ironically, it may not pass because the need for it to pass, you need Republicans and Democrats to support it, and neither side is supporting it at the moment because they're saying, hey, we need more time. More about the bipartisan in a second. Now, as to the recon, is there a vote set for the recon next week? Well, I'm going to go over that in a second. First, let's go over the recon. The recon got this incredible agreement this week on the price tag. It's not a vote on the recon, but it is an agreement about the recon done by Senate Democrats. The next step after they have this agreement with $3.5 trillion for the recon is they slot things in there. Now, earlier in this video, I told you that they're not going to show you where they're slotting things in or how much they're slotting things in for. They keep it private and quiet. But in a strange twist, I have some details. How did I get details? I paid someone behind the dumpster to slide it to me. He had a deep throat. And it was just, it was near a famous apartment building in Washington, D.C. So anyway, there was a lot of water outside. Anyway, no, it came from a conservative publication. That conservative publication wanted to trash talk the recon a little bit and say, hey, there's all this stuff in there, shouldn't be in there. Millions of Americans shouldn't be spending this money on them. This is not an exhaustive list. It's just some of the money that's in the recon. Again, not everything, just some of them. And it was done as an article to trash talk the recon. But it helps us because we know what's in there for some of the items. There's money for free school meals for all. Money for tax breaks, money for cheaper prescription medication, checks for immigration reforms, checks for farmers, checks for elections, checks for free internet. They will be dedicating new municipalities free internet funds so that they can start their own local internet company and give it to you for free. There's going to be checks for clean energy. There's going to be checks for organized labor and collective bargaining. And there'll be checks for Medicare expansion and checks for seniors' medical coverage like dental, vision, and hearing aid. Wow, exciting details. $3.5 trillion of it. Now let's turn to the bipartisan. The bipartisan got a wonderful agreement on Wednesday that the group basically said they created a self-mandated deadline to potentially agree on the deal provisions of the bipartisan by Thursday. This mandate, even if they get it done by Friday or this weekend, basically says we'll agree upon which road and bridge, to make it very simple, of what's in the bipartisan. They said that once we get that done, then it's very easy to write the bill, that we just write the bill up in the format of a Senate bill. We've already agreed upon the substance. Wonderful news. So when are they talking about calling the vote on the actual bipartisan bill, which would then be written. They say next week, but most middle of the line print media and myself are saying if it's not next week, it's the week after. It's most likely the week after for the bipartisan. Now, why is this huge for the recon? Because remember, the recon has to go for a vote before the bipartisan or concurrently. So the recon could go for a vote next week. Exciting details. So there you go. It's important to understand that if you've been with me since April last year, when you get down to the final 2 weeks of things move very quickly and they change by the hour. I had many, many days where we would start at 9 a.m. in the morning and the stimulus check would be $10. And then by 12 noon, the check would be $20. And by 3 o'clock, the check would be for less people than there was for the start of the day. Only these people get it, and other these people. And then by the end of the day, different people got the check. Things were just changing by the hour. So everything is going to ramp up very quickly. Why is this important for you? You need a push. In fall of 2020, there was a thing called the continuing resolution. No one was supposed to put stimulus in there. Who came up with the idea? I did. I said, let's put stimulus in this continuing resolution. It changed American history. I said, let's put stimulus in the CR. People thought I was crazy. I started a campaign, CR for stimulus, and you pushed it, and you got it done. Those legislators said, yeah, maybe we'll put some stimulus in the CR. It sounds weird, but we'll do it. And they started to do it, but the wrong way. They put unemployment stimulus in there, and we pushed back, vowing to vote against them and vote them out of office, seats for stimulus. And what we did in a very short period of time was get a stimulus check in there. It was a very quick turnaround time, and I remember even walking at the beach and thinking, wow, I'm starting the day thinking that Pat Toomey is going to derail this, and by the end of the day, Mitt Romney is coming back and easing down Pat Toomey and getting it done. Things were changing by the hour. So what's important for you to know is that as things get very close, you have to push. There's $3.5 trillion in the recon for us. And every legislator is fighting for different sums of money to be dedicated to their projects, whatever it is, whether it's the farmers or the internet or the Medicare expansion. They all want their pot of the money, and they want a lot of it for their project. What's our project? Us. So you have to push. It is not at the time or place to think about, what do you think? Do you think? No, it is not the time to place say, I don't think. It's not the time or place to do that. It's not the time to place say, when will it be landing? No, it's the time to push, because this is the point at which we become lobbyists for ourselves. We become lobbyists for ourselves by contacting the legislators. Go on social media and push hashtag Twitter, hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Call up your Democratic caucus members. Tell them, this is why I need this money. XR, I always forget his name. 2 weeks ago, jumped on the live channel and said he called up Senator from Delaware and said to Senator Cooney, said, hey, we need stimulus checks in there. I need it. Expressed why he personally needs the stimulus checks and made it very, very clear. Spoke to the secretary and said, this is why I need it. And at the end of the conversation, the secretary said, yes, Senator Cooney is trying to put them in there. So what's important for you to understand is that you need to push down to the very last step. Let's go over the voting process in 12 voting steps, not 12 days, but 12 voting steps. And they involve 3 rounds of 4. We have 3 bills to do. Recon procedural, recon substantive, bipartisan. Step 1, Senate floor. Step 2, Senate. Then House, then the President. They got to do 4 steps. And certainly things are going to get very heated. It was earlier this week on Tuesday that the early part of the day, whether it's conservative media or liberal media, all said that the infrastructure was falling apart. By the end of the evening, the infrastructure was not only on track, but heading right towards the end. And so things change very quickly. What some of you are excellent with is you really have the latest things on your phone coming in. Because it's important to understand that sometimes these articles, 6 hours out, 10 hours out, are now no longer relevant. The story cycle has changed. So you need to push. Finally, if I've covered stuff that you believe that, if I've not covered stuff that you think belongs in forced stimulus, then push. PUA, FPUC, extension of unemployment benefits, push to put it in there. Whether you want eviction moratorium or mortgage forbearance or student loan debt forgiveness, put in there, push to put it in there. Remember, the progressives fought to put $3.5 trillion as a big price tag so that they could get a lot of progressive policies in there. This is your opportunity to get big sums of money in there. It's also your opportunity to stay positive. And with that, I look forward to seeing you next on some great shows tonight. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on the show. It'll automatically take you into Overnight's Crypto. Then we go into Evening's Crypto, and then Sir Lloyd is back with his original show when he came back in. And then we go into Overnight's LA, which I think has a little bit more. I think we'll have another round of Mitch Ball marathon. Last night was Mitch Ball marathon. If you missed it, oh boy, I think Mitch Ball marathon from New Year's Eve is back. So with that, have a beautiful evening. And as always, I want you to always subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss a single video across the board. I'll be with you all weekend long. Don't miss me on this weekend because I have a lot of new shows coming for you. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Link is in the chat and below the video at Join, so that you can get delivered to you all the big money under third stimulus, and you can get tens of thousands of dollars as well. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.